The cold reality, the execution of Sigmon. The air crackled with anticipation, a morbid countdown to a state-sanctioned death. Brad Sigmon, a man convicted of heinous crimes, faced his final moments before a firing squad, a stark reminder of the ultimate penalty. Sigmon was dressed in a black hooded jumpsuit, a uniform of anonymity and finality. The dark fabric concealed his features, stripping him of his individual identity. The jumpsuit served as a symbol of the state's power, reducing him to a mere vessel awaiting its judgment. It was a visual representation of the end, a point of no return. A white target with a red bullseye was starkly affixed to his chest. This dehumanizing mark transformed him into an object, a target for the state's retribution. The bullseye was a chilling symbol, reducing a human life to a mere point of impact. It underscored the calculated and clinical nature of the execution. The firing squad stood 15 feet away, a distance meticulously measured and marked. This distance is comparable to the free throw line on a basketball court. This calculated distance emphasized the cold, detached nature of the act. It was a deliberate choice, ensuring accuracy and finality. An unused electric chair loomed in the corner of the room, a relic of past methods. It served as a silent testament to the evolution of capital punishment. The electric chair's presence underscored the state's ongoing search for the most humane way to end a life. It was a grim reminder of the history of executions. The lethal injection gurney had been removed, a deliberate choice to employ a more brutal method. This decision spoke volumes about the state's intent. The removal of the gurney suggested a shift towards a more visceral form of execution. It was a conscious decision to embrace a more violent end. The executioners fired simultaneously through openings in the wall, hidden from view. This anonymity further emphasized the detached nature of the process. The executioners were concealed, their identities shielded from the witnesses and the condemned. This anonymity underscored the state's role as the ultimate executor. Bullet-resistant glass separated the witnesses from the chamber, creating a sterile viewing environment. This barrier emphasized the distance between life and death. The glass served as a protective shield, both physical and psychological. It allowed witnesses to observe without being directly implicated in the act. Sigmon took deep breaths before the shots, his final moments of consciousness. These breaths highlighted the agonizing anticipation of death. Each breath was a testament to his remaining life, a desperate attempt to cling to existence. The anticipation was a form of torture in itself. 2 minutes passed between the hooding and the firing, an eternity of dread. This agonizing wait amplified the psychological impact of the execution. Those 2 minutes were a lifetime for Sigmon, a period of intense fear and reflection. It was a final, cruel act of psychological torment. The executioners remained hidden from view, their faces unseen, their identities unknown. This anonymity underscored the detached nature of the process. The hidden executioners represented the faceless power of the state, carrying out its mandate. They were mere instruments of justice, devoid of personal connection. This detachment served to distance the individuals from the act, diffusing responsibility. It was a calculated effort to minimize the psychological burden on the executioners. The passage evokes unease and discomfort, prompting a visceral reaction. It forces the reader to confront the harsh reality of capital punishment. The stark details of the execution are designed to unsettle, to challenge our moral sensibilities. It is a deliberate attempt to provoke introspection. It prompts reflection on the morality of capital punishment, questioning the state's right to take a life. Is it justice or vengeance? The act of execution raises fundamental questions about the value of human life. It forces us to grapple with the complexities of morality and justice. It raises questions about the state's role in taking a life, challenging the legitimacy of its power. Can the state ever be justified in ending a human life? The state's authority to execute is a contentious issue, debated for centuries. It is a power that demands careful consideration and ethical scrutiny. It considers the psychological impact on the condemned, the weight of impending death. What is the mental state of a person facing their execution? The psychological toll on the condemned is immense, a burden of fear, regret, and despair. It is a form of suffering that is often overlooked. It considers the psychological impact on the executioners, the burden of carrying out the sentence. What is the emotional cost of taking a life? The executioners, too, bear a heavy burden, tasked with carrying out a deeply disturbing act. their psychological well-being is often neglected. It highlights the enduring debate surrounding the ultimate penalty, a conversation that continues to evolve. Is capital punishment a just and effective deterrent? The debate over capital punishment is complex and multifaceted, encompassing legal, ethical, and moral considerations. It is a conversation that must continue. The execution is a deliberate and stark event, a calculated act of state-sanctioned death. It is a process designed to be both efficient and impersonal. The deliberate nature of the execution underscores the gravity of the decision. It is not an act of passion, but a calculated act of justice. The passage leaves the reader questioning the ethics of capital punishment, prompting a deeper examination of its implications. Is it a just and effective deterrent? The ethics of capital punishment remain a subject of intense debate, with no easy answers. It is a question that demands careful consideration and ongoing scrutiny. If this video has sparked a sense of unease or prompted you to question the morality of capital punishment, we urge you to take action. Research the arguments for and against the death penalty, engage in respectful dialogue with those who hold differing views, and contact your elected officials to voice your opinion. Subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content on the criminal justice system, and share this video to encourage a wider conversation about the ethics of state-sanctioned death. Your voice matters in shaping a more just and compassionate society.